Basically, this was plastic the attraction. Hey y'all, it's Megan. If you're returning to my channel, welcome back, and if you're new, welcome aboard. Today we are talking about the Monsanto House of the Future. The Monsanto House of the Future was an attraction that opened in Disneyland in June of 1957, so a couple of years after the original opening, and it stayed open for about 10 years. It closed in December of 1967. And the idea was to have another free attraction that could draw in some of the crowds. So they had a few free attractions, walk-through kinds of things that were sponsored. So we've talked about the Bathroom of the Future from the Crane Company and the Wizard of Bras. That was the Hollywood Maxwell Brazier Company, I believe is what it was called. I'll link both of those videos down below. If you haven't seen them and you'd like to check out some more weird Disney, those are down there. The Monsanto Hall of Chemistry was very popular. So Walt was thinking, let's do another one. And Walt was really into futuristic stuff. Tomorrowland was like his baby. So let's do a futuristic house. Let's see what people are going to be living like in the future. So it looks kind of like a pinwheel to me, where it's like a central core that goes to the ground and you walk up some steps, and there's like a little flower petals kind of coming off of it. Looks like a pinwheel, right? So the central core was where all of the utilities were housed, and then the rooms were modular, and you could add on, you could take one off and put another one on. Basically, this was like a Lego house. And I'm not like opposed to having the utilities in that central space and not taking up room within the actual rooms. I think that's kind of a cool idea, actually. And the rooms were designed like this so that it was going to be easy to do renovations and expansions without having to actually like demo a space and add on. You could just add another wing to this central core, which is a pretty cool idea in theory. I'm not sure how it would work out, but pretty cool idea. I mentioned that it was kind of like a Lego house, and that's pretty much how they built it. The pieces were fabricated off-site, and then they were trucked in to Disneyland, and they were kind of just like snapped in place like Lego bricks. That's how they constructed the actual houses. Now let's do like some walkthrough. Let's give some facts about the actual house. This model home that you were going to walk through was going to be a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house, which is pretty good. There was going to be a room for the parents, a room for a son, and a room for a daughter, and then there was some bathrooms. So that was, a pretty standard American family. It was going to be just under 1,300 square feet. Decent size house, especially if my utilities are not taking up space in the house. There's no random closets that can't actually store anything because there's a hot water heater in there or a furnace. That's great. This house was actually designed partially by Monsanto, partially by Imagineering, and they enlisted the help of MIT. So they were not just like throwing this thing together. They did have some actual sciencey engineering kinds of people who were working on this kind of stuff. Not that Imagineers aren't engineers, like they definitely are, but they had a lot of collaboration that went into this attraction. Today we look at it and we're like, okay, this is kind of silly. This is kind of a funny thing, right? But it was very serious. It was very popular. Tons of people wanted to go through it. Tons of people wanted to see what they were going to be living like in 1986. That's when it was set, 1986. So let's talk about some of the like innovations that were going to be housed within this House of the Future, 1986 being the future. So like 20 to 30 years in the future from when they were actually viewing it. So there'd be like us looking into 2050. I don't like that. I don't like the sound of that at all. Anyway, basically this was plastic the attraction. Everything was going to be made of plastic. It was going to be durable. It was going to be washable. It was going to be, plastic was the future, and that's why Monsanto was Monsanto was one of the big plastics manufacturers. So we were going to have plastic and vinyl everything. I mean everything. So they had vinyl floors, they had plastic dishes in the kitchen, they had vinyl countertops in the kitchen, they had plastic furniture with plastic fabrics. They had fabrics made of plastic, and all I can think is of The Nanny with Sylvia and Morty with their like plastic covering on the couch. Did y'all watch that show? I was obsessed with Fran Drescher. Anyway, that's all I can think of with the plastic fabrics and plastic furniture. But they had plastic everything, and the idea was that it was going to be super durable, super washable. I don't know how dirty people thought that they were going to be in 1986, but apparently we needed to just be able to like bring in the pressure washer and hose everything down. So everything was going to be super durable, everything was going to be super washable, and yay plastic. aside from plastic, they did have some other innovations that were more in line with what we see today. They were going to have microwaves, dishwashers. These were things that were like in progress of being a thing, but they were very, very expensive. So they were saying these are going to be part of like every American household. These are going to be just part of everyday life, which they have become. I think most people probably have a microwave, a dishwasher, those kinds of things. So those have become pretty ubiquitous within the household of the future. A couple of the other things that they were going to have, they had an observoscope in the living space, which was a TV. It was a radio that you could see pictures on. So that was a TV, and TVs were like, again, that was in progress in the late 50s and early 60s, but it wasn't a thing that everyone had by any means. Another thing that they wanted to have that I think is really interesting, that they had it in Southern California because the weather there is pretty nice, but one of the big things that they wanted to draw attention to was the fact that they were going to have individual climate controls in every room, and that was going to be from the Crane Company, again sponsored. The Crane Company is who did the Bathroom of Tomorrow, like I mentioned. So they were like, you're going to be able to control your own climate in every single room. So if little Timmy is hot and Susie is cold, she can turn her room to be a little bit warmer, which speaks deeply to my reptilian brain because I am always cold. Y'all know this about me. I don't want to be cold ever. So I would just have mine cranked to like 85 constantly and just live in my terrarium. The last innovation that they were going to have was a closed circuit TV that was on your door so that you could see who was coming to your door. So Ring doorbell. This was the Ring doorbell of the 1950s. It was not going to be nearly as clear, obviously, but that was one of the visionary ideas that they had, and they were like, you know, this is something that I think most houses are going to have in the future. No, it didn't happen in the 80s. It's been a few years more recently than that, but I think that most of the things that they outlined as being something that the house of the future would have did in fact happen, except we don't all sit on vinyl furniture. So that was the house, and you would just come in and you would do a little walkthrough. It was super popular. People loved coming to see this, and it stayed open for about 10 years. And then when they went to tear it down, they had some trouble. For quite a while, the base of the building was just there. They have built attractions and theming around it, and as far as I know, it's still visible, sort of. It's in go away green, the green paint color that Disney paints things when they don't want you to see it. It's kind of near Pixie Hollow, like the Pixie Hollow area of Disneyland. There's videos online where you can see exactly where it is. People have gone and pointed it out. I'm not sure if it's still there. I think it is. But the base of the House of the Future is still slightly visible. So that's it for today. That is the weird Disney history of the Monsanto House of the Future. Let me know, would you have liked to have like this kind of house? It seems still kind of cool to me. I would not be opposed to having like a modular house that you could add on to and build. I mean, I'm a Lego person, so maybe that's part of the draw. Let me know. I would kind of like to have my own little wing of the house. I think it sounds kind of fun, especially with my own climate control in every room. Perfect. Aside from that, let me know what you guys are looking to see in the new year, what kinds of videos you are wanting. Are you wanting more Disney stories? Are you wanting more Disney history? Are you okay with having some of my just like random stories from my life and just letting me ramble about some things? Let me know if that's cool too. So, hope you guys are having a wonderful holiday season. If I don't see you again before Christmas, Merry Christmas. Have a wonderful holiday weekend, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye, y'all.